Yeah.
But it's the 15th of February, off the back of Valentine's Day. How did yesterday go for you both? Did you do anything particularly romantic for your other halves, or what?
I'll let Ollie begin. I think he's got more.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
Alright,
there we
so,
go.
had a very nice day. Went out and got stuff and made sushi together.
Made sushi.
Nice. Yeah,
Fair enough.
very romantic.
Very romantic. What like filling did you go for? What fish did you go for in the middle?
More of a vegetarian approach.
Oh, okay. So it was cop out sushi, in other words.
Yeah, pretty much.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Elliot, did you get up to anything interesting on Valentine's Day?
So we were travelling for half the day.
Oh,
Well, to London, and no, it was just a really nice chilled evening. Some cheese and grapes that my wonderful partner made for us.
oh wow.
You know the usual Valentine's.
Beautiful. I could only assume it was fantastic. And this evening we're here to talk about, M.D.R.N, big creative platform that may or may not be heavily involved with social media, but we'll get on to that. First things first, I want to go back. I want to take you back to early life. And there's a particular theme that runs through my mind about this idea of kind of struggle, forcing creativity, or making people creative, and that sort of being the trigger that makes people creative. Were there any struggles that you faced in your early life that kind of made you think, I don't want to do like the kind of normal like 9 to 5, or were you just happy-go-lucky and this is a complete misnomer?
No, I mean for me, I think I'm pretty lucky. From a pretty early age, I discovered that I was somewhat creative. At the age of probably around 6 or 7, I would just sit and date. I never liked education. I never liked, your conventional subjects, if you'd like. I just didn't enjoy it. Maths, quite frankly, scares the life out of me, and I don't know if that's good to run a company, maybe. I'd be the guy that sat at the back of the class playing guitar on his ruler.
That's a beautiful image right there. Fantastic.
Yeah, I thought I was Hendrix, and the teacher would be like, "Elliot, stop daydreaming again."
Oh my goodness me. What about you, Oliver? What was your kind of like early interest creatively?
So I think it was pretty much to do with what I was brought up around. So obviously my parents were highly involved in drama and stuff like that. And Elliot was always very musical, and even my dad used to play a lot of guitar. So I was always surrounded by it. So it was just something that I always was interested about, I guess.
Fair enough. So it was the kind of parents' intrigue plus the kind of environment that you were in that inspired these thoughts. And speaking of your parents, like I'm very keen to know, because you're obviously launching this brand, something that's hopefully going to turn out to be a big commercial success. And your father's also very hyper successful. How much of an influence on your thinking and in terms of the kind of creativity, the branding, etc., behind M.D.R.N has he been? Like, how much of an influence is he?
He calls himself. He's actually our chairman. Ooh. But he actually likes to go by the name of the Never There Man. So he's the guy that we'll go to when we're really struggling with something. He's just the guy that will kind of go, "Oh, why don't you try that?" And it's like, "Oh, okay, yeah, that works."
Just sort of like turns a light bulb on inside your mind, and then there it is. There's the idea.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
And then he'll go back to singing his songs or something. Yeah, he's that arsehole. But we love him.
All right, so he sort of like it kind of occupies the wise old man in the background who's always coming out with gems of wisdom. I love that. Speaking of, I want to fire some quick fire questions at you in terms of to get a feel of the kind of people you were when you were growing up.
Question time.
Okay.
Do you have a countdown?
Yeah. And so there are along 3 themes, because I know we all have the shared interests, and they're about music, drama, and fashion. Okay. Ooh. So first question for you both. Oh, you ready? What was the first musical instrument you ever played, and what got you into it?
So the first musical instrument for me was the drums. And just, I don't know, by accident, I just started playing on my family sofa with colouring pencils. I obviously just had this urge to hit stuff with sticks. I don't know.
That's something beautiful about that. Just had an urge that needed to be fulfilled.
I was making art on the sofas while I had to play the drum. Unfortunately, my parents didn't really agree with that, so they actually decided to fork out and get me a kit, which was amazing. But yeah,
Fantastic.
that was my start.
For me, it was bass.
Bass guitar.
Yeah, bass guitar. I got one in New York. It was the first time I ever bought one.
And it plays.
And
What
it was
can you
just
say? Dripping sauce, man.
And so, and they always had like a problem with the bassist. There was always like there was a bassist for a month, and then there wouldn't be one. And then so I thought, oh, maybe when I'm old enough, I can like slot in there. So that was kind of the plan for it.
I see. Fair enough. Controversial one for you both now. Now that I spoke to Elliot beforehand, and I know you're a guitar player, so this is controversial for you both. Yeah. Your house is burning down. 2 guitars are inside. Fender, Gibson. Which one do you save, and why?
I personally saved the Gibson because I think there's more value in that.
I was going to say that as well.
Because they don't
make them.
Yeah, they went bankrupt, didn't they?
Gibson.
Gibson died as a company, so yeah, definitely the Gibson.
100%.
Fair enough. Okay, fair enough. And in terms of the acting side of things, first play you ever acted in, was it with Leap? And what was your role?
First role was actually before Leap, when they were all in a group called Orpington Rep.
Right.
I don't know if this was Leap or Orpington Rep. I don't know. So if any of the Leap or Orpington Rep members are watching, I'm sorry if I've made this mistake. But yeah, it was a pantomime, and they did Robinson Crusoe. I don't know if you've ever.
I have heard of Robinson Crusoe. That's a fantastic role, man.
And if anybody that knows me at that time, I was this like kind of like really chubby kid. So they had me playing. What was it like? I guess it was like the island people, if you'd like. So I was kind of running around on the stage, or just like the ensemble. I'd pop up on 1 minute. I was a sailor. I was
rapid costume changes in the wings. Fantastic! What a beautiful image, man. Ollie, what about you, bro?
I was in a murder mystery, and I was the murdered person in it. This was for Leap. It was the wedding one. I can't remember what it was called. And I was that. So I was just pretty much just stumbled on and then just fell on the floor, covered in blood, basically.
What a cameo.
What a cameo.
What a fantastic cameo. Maybe the first of many. If you're going to go into the world of fashion and modeling, maybe the first of many roles for you.
Many roles.
And speaking of fashion designers, so we're gonna slow down a little bit now. We're gonna slow down. This is getting more serious because it's rare for me that I ever speak to someone who's as fashionable as you, A, and B, who's a model. So I have to know, who are your favorite, like current favorite designers? Who do you wear the most and why?
I think what I wear the most for trousers and stuff like that, definitely Dickies or Carhartt and Levi's, really, just for the comfort and also the quality of it as well, because you can really put them for anything and they'll pretty much be exactly the same.
Fair enough.
Yeah, they're so sturdy. You could probably throw them in a volcano and they'd rise.
Come out fine. The most amazing,
indestructible jeans
as well. The comfort is amazing. I'd say for tops, Supreme tops are really good because they're
beautiful. They've got that certain je ne sais quoi, haven't they? I don't know what it is about them.
They're so
a
fresh Supreme top.
Oh, beautiful.
They have a nice smell to them as when you open that bag.
It's almost like, you know, when you like, I don't drive personally, but I have been in them when they've just been bought. You know that new car smell? When you open the door, you get hit with that waft of fresh leather and like, Jesus Christ, what is this?
Definitely. I think for shoes, Nike.
You can't go wrong with a pair of Nikes, can you?
They're nice, really. They're just so versatile and you can literally wear them for anything.
And talking of, you know, we're on the topic of fashion, and as a good researcher for this podcast, I obviously went through M.D.R.N's Instagram page to kind of pull up facts and tidbits, you know, about you and your fashion tastes. And I was, you know, interested because you cited people such as like Leo Mandela, Felix Spooner, and Michael Montfort Tennant. The temptation to say David Tennant there was so strong, but I managed to withhold it. As kind of being your fashion influences, and I was just wondering, like, what was it about, just to name a few, but what was it about those kind of characters that drew you into fashion and intrigued you the most?
I think it was just, I loved the way they dressed, and I loved the way they incorporated what they wore into the background of what it was. So if they were wearing something with a certain vibrant color in it, they make sure that the background where they were had the same color as well. So I think it was just like the whole fact of it, putting it together. And also I think it's just that they don't always dress conventionally as like people would. So they kind of throw stuff in that's a bit different, and I just thought that was really interesting.
Fair enough. I love that. Well, I'm not done yet. With fashion. I've prepared you both a joint activity, which is brought to you by the wizardry, the technological genius of Zoom and screen share and Microsoft PowerPoint. So get ready, please, gentlemen.
Oh no.
Right, here we go. I call it fashion faux pas. And so what I'm going to do here, gents, is I'm going to run you through. I'm going to run you through some pictures that I've collated and collected, and just throw some ideas at you. And I want to get your thoughts as to like kind of the emotions and whether it suits people or not. Okay. So the first one's nice and easy. Oh, goodness me. Lil Peep. Oh shit. Hang on. Let's go back. Right. Lil Peep, but specifically face tattoos. What are your thoughts on them and why? Do they suit most people? Do they suit most rappers?
I think you have to be a rare breed.
Yeah, someone like Post Malone, they actually look quite good. But
otherwise, you just kind of
it's just, I think it's like
borderline prison convict. Yeah, I don't know.
There's a lot of things that you have.
There's a lot of factors at play here, isn't there?
Like the size of it, where it is, if it's coloured or not.
It's otherwise it's just one of those things. It's going to ruin a job application. I mean, you'll turn up for your first interview, and you're like, got a fucking teardrop tattoo. So did I get the job of midwife or not?
Yeah.
Anyway. Okay, this next one, another controversial one, which was in the news recently. Lil Uzi Vert and his diamond tattoo. No, not diamond tattoo. Diamond in the center of his forehead. What do you think?
No.
I loved the Avengers memes though. I thought that was amazing.
What with the fella having it pulled out by Thanos? It was absolutely fantastic. When I first got sent this, I looked at the photo and I just thought this is not the original photo I got sent, but I just thought it looked retarded because it wasn't straight in line with his nose. There was
side, but
it was slightly bent. So I just thought, you've wasted your money. And now you look like a complete cock, Hey,
didn't he have to save up for years?
He's been saving since 2017 for this diamond. It's
fuck off
or something like that. He spent on this diamond.
So that's 3 years in the making, and it looks terrible.
Up in his head.
So definite nah.
Definitely.
So fashion faux pas then, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Moving on. Kanye. Now this is just a broader spectrum one. Kanye West clothing line in general. What are your thoughts and feelings on it?
The thing is, I think the 350 Boost, personally, I don't think they're a great sneaker. I just don't think they're a great shoe. However, the bigger ones like the 700s and the military boots, I think they're paying.
Yeah.
And the clothing, I get it's really cool when he's going for a simplistic idea for it.
Yeah.
I just don't personally think I would spend 300 quid for a blank jump or something like that.
Yeah, it's incredibly monotone by comparison to things that he's previously done. I think when I first saw it just seemed like he was trying to flex on the fashion game without having any kind of real plan as to how he was going to do it. But I digress. Kanye West is a creative guy, and I'm sure he'll be back with better. Next one, please. So this one, controversial, exposing body parts. We've got Lizzo with her arse out at an NBA game. What do you make of this?
I thought it was a sticker.
I thought she had a t-shirt.
No. So she's cut like the backside out on her dress. Like, what do you make of that?
I guess like all you can really say is like body positivity, I guess. And like if she wants to do that, then sure, she should be able to do it.
I think only Lizzo could get away with that. We can put it that way.
That's the thing.
But it wouldn't become a fashion trend worldwide for people.
I think it would have already, right? I mean, when was this?
A couple of months ago now. Back when the world was normal. So
masks in this picture,
yeah, that doesn't look like COVID was around.
Yeah, it doesn't look exactly COVID safe having your ass exposed on the scene. Also, man, I fucking love this guy to like the left of her ass. He's probably just looking at the TV screen. He's like, fucking damn, I've been included in this, son. This is amazing. Okay. So I'm assuming fashion faux pas from you guys.
Definitely. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Moving on. Now, this is just a blanket statement. Balenciagas. I'm really keen to get the lowdown on what you both think of this.
I think that they're horrible.
I think they are beautiful.
You think they're beautiful?
Triple S's in all white are so nice.
I think if you're Ollie, you can get away with it, but personally, that looks to me like it's like 4 shoes in one.
No, it does.
It looks like the Frankenstein's monster of shoe soles. Like that's what it is.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the chunky shoe trend, and I just think these are like one of the best pairs of shoes you can get if you want the chunkiness.
I see. So chunky's in is what you're saying. Chunky's in.
100%.
Okay, fair enough. So I'm feeling the room, and I'm guessing there's a split decision here. On the one hand, I feel like Ollie's like, no, this is something I can wear. This is something I pull off. But I'm feeling more broadly from Elliot, fashion faux pas all the way. I can see the deadpan expression on your face.
I think I just look like an idiot if I put them on, to be honest.
Oh, please go.
I might have to get a pair now.
Fair enough. We'll go split decision with that one.
I'll have to get the Zara basics.
Right, and these ones might not be so clear, but wide leg jeans are supposedly making a comeback. Thoughts?
100%. I like them.
Back in the day when I was in a rock band, I probably would have been like, yeah.
100%.
But now, again, it's more Ollie.
Now as a consummate business professional, you're like, I can't believe
this is it, Phil. I wear the same thing every day now. So
oh my goodness. I couldn't imagine you being that guy, Elliot. But whatever, man. If it works for you, it works for you. You know, whatever you're wearing is like what Steve Jobs did to the turtleneck. It will be fantastic. Okay, moving on. So I'm assuming yet again, split decision right down the middle. Ollie would wear it, Elliot wouldn't. Okay.
No, I rate them completely.
You rate them? Oh, okay. I completely misread that. Right, here we go. Now this is one. Oh, I'm feeling the room here. We've got to talk me through it. What do you like about it, first of all? I mean,
I thought that shout out Kim Jones anyway. I think he's done amazing things at Dior. And I think he was great at LV as well.
Better than Virgil.
Definitely. Controversial.
Just saying.
Definitely better than Virgil. But
that is a controversial opinion. I won't press you on it for fear of the consequences. But yeah, I'm feeling that you both would definitely wear this.
Oh, 100%.
Oh, I wouldn't wear them. They'd be straight on StockX, Phil. But
oh, fair enough. Always moving business savvy. That's the main thing. That's the main thing from this guy. All right, I love it. But definitely not a fashion faux pas. Something that you're both into.
100%.
That's a work of art. That is.
Yeah.
That's a work of art, ladies and gentlemen. A work of art.
A work of art.
All right. Moving on. Now, I know you guys aren't into sports per se, but crossovers between brands such as Jordan, Nike, Dior, they're happening. Paris Saint-Germain is riding that wave all the way home. What do you think?
With what fashion collabs with football brands, clubs?
Well, I mean, more broadly, like fashion collabs with sporting brands, I suppose.
I think it's a smart move.
I think it's a smart move because obviously the fans will wear it and you might get a little bit
opens
more.
up the market a little bit more.
But personally, there's no way I would wear like a PSG top.
Really?
I wouldn't say that me and Ollie are the biggest football
Yeah,
fans
it's
in the
just
world.
like I just don't get the whole football thing. I just don't know what it is.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. But I suppose, like, more
Yeah.
broadly, would you ever consider wearing like a retro sports top? Like, you know, being one of those people who doesn't support the team, but just for like the drip.
I like rugby tops with the collars.
Ooh.
I think rugby tops are really cool, and like the stripes. I think they're really cool. I'd wear them. I'm just not a great fan of football tops.
I might wear it to the gym or something like that. But
Yeah,
I
or
don't
for a
know.
run or something.
Yeah.
But not something to be seen seriously in during the daytime. Like, you wouldn't turn up to a pub with your boys wearing something like this.
I won't wear it to the pub. No.
No.
Okay, fair enough. Well, in the pub, whenever that's going to be again. But I'm sensing from the room another fashion faux pas.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, we're agreed on this one. Now, this one might seem a little bit odd, but I'm feeling I want to get your opinion on it. Short shorts or men? What do you reckon?
Definitely not,
You
man.
can see he's
You
weak.
literally said, like, definitely not.
Absolutely no.
Definitely not.
Absolutely not.
Who is that? Is that Bill Clinton?
It looks like Bill
It's
Clinton.
Bill Clinton. It's Bill Clinton. I can't claim to have had originality in this idea. I saw it on Hot Ones and I just thought, I want to get the same question across. I want to see what the reaction is. But yeah,
Not
short shorts on men, that's a no.
a chance.
And that's the end of the quiz. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts.
Wow.
That was amazing. That was beautiful.
Very good quiz.
Oh, okay. So now I kind of want us to, like, obviously we're going to start talking about M.D.R.N a bit more, its origins, where it came from, etc., etc. And obviously, I think the natural beginning point for me is when I first met you, Elliot, which is, you know, way back when in 2015. And I suppose you struck me then as being an incredibly creative guy, incredibly thoughtful guy, and someone who had you just had that kind of creative aura around you. Obviously, at that point, you were in a band. Like, what kind of music did you play? Like, what were you trying to do creatively then?
So yeah, when I first met you, I was in the band. I'm just trying to think how old I would have been then. Probably like 17. How old were you,
Wow.
Phil? Because I think
Am I slightly older? I might have been. I was 18. I was 18 when we met. So yeah, roughly about a
I've
year.
been around 18 to be working in a pub in the first place.
Say again,
Yeah.
sorry.
About 18.
About
So, yeah.
roughly 18.
Yeah, so at that age, I was in the band. You know, it was predominantly playing rock music. That was what we were doing. So yeah, that's what I was doing creatively at the time. I was just in the band. That was my full-time thing. Obviously, I worked part-time jobs just to kind of get some money on the side and fund my partying habits and whatnot.
Fantastic.
As you do. But
Yeah.
so yeah, that's what I was doing. We was just like always in rehearsal rooms, always playing shows, always writing. So that was what I was constantly surrounded by music and musicians and just writing music. That's what I was doing pretty much full time.
Fair enough. It's quite, and at that age, must have been quite an intense lifestyle to be leading as well, because you obviously talk about, you know, the partying aspect of it, but like, was there kind of, I don't know how to quite phrase it, but do you feel at times there might have been like an undue pressure on you to kind of consistently churn things out creatively and to like breach the gap between being an unknown band and being relatively successful? Because you said you were on the verge of being signed and like playing massive tours. How did that all kind of feel for you?
I mean, I don't think we really thought of it like that. I mean, obviously, in the back of our heads, we wanted to be this great band that sold out Wembley and did all these great things. I think everybody has that kind of ambition. If they tell you they didn't, then they're just lying to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that, you know, the most important thing for us was just kind of writing the songs and playing the shows. You know, we didn't want to be known just to be famous or to have money or anything. We just wanted to be known for writing great songs and known for what we do. So yeah, there was a pressure because obviously at the end of the day, you have to pay the bills, and
that's very true.
You know, and it's true what they say. You know, this what is it? An Oasis lyrics. You know, never put your hands never put your life in the hands of a rock and roll band.
That's very true.
You know, we really did, and so yeah, there was never really that much pressure because I feel like we were lucky enough to have families and maybe some of the members anyway, but parents that really supported what we were doing and really believed in it and were there just as much as us, in the background, taking us to gigs all the time and taking us around London and, helping us to pay for rehearsal studios and all of our gear and whatnot. So, there was pressure because we wanted to be a great band and we wanted to be the best that we could. But that was more kind of pressure on ourselves. It wasn't really pressure like we have to make it tomorrow.
So there wasn't sort of a pressure from the outside world as such, but it was more the kind of, I suppose, internal pressure that you were putting on yourself of like, I wanted to make a success of it. And as things wore on, unfortunately, it came to an end. Like, how did that feel at the time? I mean, and why did it happen?
I mean, I think for probably around the last year of the band, you would probably agree. I mean, I think what happened is that a year prior to that, I think that's when we had our kind of prime lineup, so to speak. And we would kind of literally just be with each other all the time. We'd like literally live at each other's houses or in my mate's basement or whatever it was, and always be together. And we went on tour with that lineup and we recorded our album with that lineup. And that particular person left the band, who was our bass player. We had an absolute nightmare with bass players, whoever knew the Alibi.
Oh my God.
As Oliver mentioned earlier. And he decided that he wanted to have a bit more input with the songwriting. He wanted to be the guitar player. And I think he was just in a bit of a bad place himself. I think with the partying lifestyle as well, as we were saying earlier, I think it's luckily that none of us died in that period at some points,
Wow. So you hitting it heavy during that period?
Yeah, we was hitting it heavy, and we were young, and we thought we were. I think at some points we did think we were bigger than we were. So in that last year, I mean, I think that had all taken its toll. It was just gone down to the three of us, and I think when there's three of you in a band, sometimes it frees a crowd. Thing, and we were just.
I mean, mathematically speaking, it's an uneven number, and I think as well, it kind of. Everyone says 3 is the magic number, but I've never ever seen it. I've never seen it that dynamic in friendship groups, business partners, actors. It's never ever worked. There's always someone who's left sidelined, and I'm assuming that kind of is what happened creatively. There must have been lines drawn in the sand at some point, and just people were going, "We want to do this. You guys want to do that."
Absolutely. And I think that's what happened. I think that's big reason of why we did split up, because Harry, who was our front guy, he wanted to start just kind of writing songs by himself, and that wasn't our formula. We always did it together. It was always a very collaborative thing, and I think the moment the collaboration got kicked out of it, which is why this project that we'll talk about later is so important to us now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is that it was that collaboration that really made it so special between all of us, and I think that we lost that completely. But everybody wanted to kind of be the main songwriter and the front man, and it just caused massive tension. And I think we just ended up losing that friendship, because we were all like brothers. It was like a family, everybody involved. And to be honest, when it did end, it was obviously heartbreaking, and I'm sure it was for the other guys as well, not just myself. But it really was a hard time.
Yeah, for sure. I think there's something definitely to be said for, if you're involved with someone creatively over anything, whether it be acting, whether it be music, whether it be, art and fucking painting, and, as soon as that kind of chemistry comes to an end, and there is something inside you that kind of dies a little bit and does make you feel crap, because I think that the arts force you to become closer with people, because you're not exploring something that's kind of cut and dry, completely objective. It's something abstract and something like it, it's not a sweet science. You have to kind of push around in the dark to try and make things work. And when that kind of magic comes to an end, I can imagine it would be a terrible feeling for anyone. And something that's kind of interested me about you guys, so like M.D.R.N was founded in 2018. What kind of happened in that sort of 3-year, shall we say, hiatus in inverted commas, or what was going on in between 2015 to 2018?
So the band actually split up in around 2017, I think it was.
Okay.
2017, something like that. Maybe.
Okay. So fairly close.
Yeah, I mean, so after that, I was kind of bummed out for half a year. I was just trying to I was trying to do everything to fool myself that I was kind of still in it, if you know what I mean. So I was I was still writing songs all the time, and you know, just trying my hardest. I wanted to maybe have a go at being a solo artist at one point, but then I just thought, you know what, yeah. So, but in the meantime, like I was producing, even when I was in the band, I was always kind of interested in making beats, and I'm a massive fan of like Drake's producer and like Kanye West and all of those kind of people too. Like as much as I come from a rock background, I come from a hip hop background. Like my first ever CD was like Dr. Dre.
Oh,
so,
wow. Chronic or 2001?
It was 2001.
What a fantastic album.
It was a brilliant album. So I always wanted to kind of get into that. So I was producing, and a girl that I'd met at the same college that I'd met the band, she kind of she was always a really, really great singer. And, I worked with her a bit at college, and we kind of lost touch over the years. We kept in contact, but obviously I was obviously in the band, and I didn't really have time to really work with anything else because I was so into that. But then she kind of contacted me when she'd known that the kind of band had split up, and she was like, look, do you want to get back in the studio? Do you want to come and help me do some stuff? And she was playing a show in Shoreditch. She said, can you come and play guitar with me? Because we just always used to do these guitar jams where I'd just play some chords and she'd start singing melodies and that kind of thing.
Right.
I said, yeah, sure, let's go. You know, why not? I had no idea what this gig was. I didn't know what was going to happen next.
You didn't know what you're getting yourself into, but
no, absolutely not. I just thought it was like a kind of open mic show, if you'd like, where I play a couple tunes with her and that'd be it. But so we go to this gig, and it was actually being hosted by a lady called Cheyenne Anderson, who, if anybody knows in the music industry, she's quite a figure. She's responsible for discovering Ed Sheeran.
Shout out Cheyenne, my God, that's amazing.
Yeah, she's actually a big BBC One extra DJ at the moment too.
Wow.
So yeah, she discovered Ed and Stormzy and a few other people.
Wow.
Yeah, big name. So I didn't know she was one of the judges, and I'm pretty glad that I didn't actually, because I think I might have soiled myself.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. That is some fucking nerve-wracking shit, bro.
Yeah, so we played this gig, and she really liked this artist Duchess's voice. So going forward, she was like, yeah, I'd love to kind of work with you guys, and that was great. So I was like, yeah, a new project. I mean, the band had just ended, and I was like, great, this is the opportunity for something new. I wanted to get into producing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I don't have to be behind a drum kit, because I didn't really want to play drums at the time, because you know, it just reminded me of
too many painful memories of what happened.
Exactly. But yeah, right, physically and mentally. So yeah, we started doing that. So I started going in the studio. This Cheyenne lady very kindly booked a studio time and was getting us involved with some other producers in the industry, such as Quez Darko, who I don't know if you're a Slow Tie fan.
I'm a Slow Tie fan.
Yeah, but that's Slow Tie's main producer. So at the time, I kind of met them too as well.
Wow.
The Slow Tie's just dropped a new album, actually. Shout out, it was really, really good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I got to meet them too at the time as well, which was really cool. And this was when Slow Tie was literally at the start, like
really
just before kind of Blown and Nothing Great About Britain came out and all of that kind of stuff. So that was all great. And then we played another few shows, but at the same time, there was a lot of kind of record companies sniffing about, the likes of Universal, Virgin, everybody really, Warner, and in the background, she was kind of she was signing with them. And unfortunately, I mean, she'd said, because I said to her, I'm not going to, at the start of this, I said to her, you know, I'm not going to get involved in this, because at the end of the day, I've just had my kind of heart broken by being in the band, and I don't. And she was like, no, I'll never leave you. I'll never do that. You know, it's us.
Lo and behold,
you know, all of that kind of stuff. Great sales pitch. So she
cold blood flows through her veins wherever she is.
And yeah, she got signed up, and that was it.
That was that.
just kind of dropped me really, and so that kind of bummed me out even more. And I was just like, you know what? And this kind of leads up to now. I was kind of like, you know what? I don't think I'm going to do music for a bit. I think I'm going to look at the business side of things a little bit more.
For sure. And I think that sort of nicely segues us into kind of like the beginning of what MDRN was. And I suppose after you've had these sort of prolonged periods of being heavily creative, you know, what was the kind of like, and this is obviously for you both because you're co-creators, what was the kind of inspiration behind M.D.R.N? What was the kind of gap in the market that you saw that made you think there's something here, there's something to be exploited here, there's something to be used here?
I think the whole idea of M.D.R.N was to kind of give creatives a place where they could kind of be together, or just because originally it started off as clothing, because obviously Elliot used to make tie-dye t-shirts in the garage.
Beautiful.
And it was, you just always wanted to make clothing, wasn't it, at first?
Yeah, I always wanted to do a clothing brand. I don't know what it was about it, like.
I mean, it's so prestigious to have your own clothing line. I mean, who wouldn't want that? Who wouldn't want that?
Exactly. And I always wanted to do that. So I thought, okay, maybe I can try this again and do a little clothing thing. I'd done a little kind of business plan in my notepad about all my costs. And I was actually like, I know I'm broke. I can't do that right now.
Fair enough.
And then I kind of looked at maybe doing a creative magazine, which didn't just talk about creatives, but actually talked about the environment too, because I'm really into that environmental awareness and all that kind of, all of that jazz too. But maybe that's a conversation. So I wanted it to make it about that. But then I figured that, you know, there's a lot of that too.
So it was in terms of what the kind of brand was, I suppose. It sounds like you wanted to have something that was diverse and is as diverse as M.D.R.N is now. And I suppose, you know, obviously I'm aware of what M.D.R.N is. You guys are as well. And now I suppose this is the meat and potatoes of the podcast, the fucking end of the foreplay. And you're probably licking your lips for this, but like, I want to, for those people who aren't in the know, and this is like, you know, they're on the second episode of my podcast. Could you explain to them what M.D.R.N is, what you guys do, and what your kind of niche is, I suppose, in the market?
Yeah, absolutely. So M.D.R.N, it actually stands for Make Dreams Reality Now. If you didn't know that, if you did, because it was actually just called Mdrn before. I just literally just shortened down Mdrn, and I was like, ooh, I could make a nice little acronym.
Little saucy meaning there.
Broke up the letters, and I was like, Make Dreams Reality Now. I was like, oh, that would do.
The creative process in a nutshell. That'll fucking do.
That'll do. Let's not overcomplicate things.
Yeah.
And I think I think that's even more relevant than it was when I even wrote it down the first time, to be honest.
Sure, yeah.
I didn't really know what it was. So what M.D.R.N is, what we are, is so we're a platform which is just really dedicated to creatives and creativity. And what we're trying to do here is just build this landscape, this world for creatives where they can connect with each other in a place which is, you know, there's so many other places nowadays where you can go and meet people, but it's just so the haystack's too big.
Yeah, for sure. And you sort of, I suppose, what the kind of the premises as well, and you know, is that kind of, I suppose, when I've from researching M.D.R.N, what I got on like a feel for was this idea of community. And you were talking about collaboration earlier, and the fact that, you know, previously in the band, the kind of sense of collaboration had gone. Whereas now it feels like what you're trying to create is a more kind of centralized platform for all types of creatives to get together and share ideas. And just so like, just for the viewers out there who you know, aren't in touch with like what these guys are doing and don't know what it is, just to give you a brief outline of the kind of areas that these guys cover. It's incredibly broad. So if you're in any of these areas, do go and check them out. It's incredible. They cover stuff from music, art, business, media, fashion, acting, to name but a few, and I'm sure more are on the way. But is it kind of the kind of sense I'm getting is it's a community and a spider web of ideas, just all in one centralized place?
Yeah, it's just it's like a place where whatever you need is there, and it's like you feel welcome regardless what you do. It's not like we're only for music or only something else. It's whatever you do creative is completely welcome, and it's just a place where you share ideas and your passions.
Absolutely.
Fair enough.
And I think even going further than that, it's actually about building teams. It's about finding teams. It's like when I first started like building a band, I was lucky to kind of find that at college. But for people that might be sitting at home, like I've got these great songs, or I'm a drummer and I really want to join a band, it's about really forming those relationships and that collaboration and building those projects together. It's about taking a dream, singing in a shower, to making a team and making it a reality, you know, because there's so, I mean, and that's the whole collaboration cycle for this. And this is what we really try to raise awareness for, if you'd like.
Yeah, for sure.
You might be a singer, but you know, next up, you're going to need a producer to make it sound great and maybe like help you write the songs. Then you're going to need a DJ or a band to go and perform it live. But then you're going to need management too, to look after all the businessy stuff. You'll need PR, and you need, you know, it's about, and a photographer, a videographer. You know, it's about raising this awareness that actually it's not just one person that makes something, it's a group and a team of people.
Fantastic. And I think that's such an important, I mean, extrapolating that idea just a little bit, like, and applying it to right now, the idea of community and having a network of people that you can rely on, I think is so important. And it's such a great USP for you guys to have as your product. And it's I genuinely think it's really, really incredible. And I think you guys can expect big things from it. I kind of want to go through the story and timeline of M.D.R.N a little bit. So, you know, you started in 2018. And I'm curious to know, you know, what were the kind of initial business moves that you both made, and what were the kind of growing pains of developing the brand and building the brand that you experienced?
Well, it started off with events.
So
hip hop events. We used to like host over London, really, and then we just kind of started going down different alleyways and seeing what we could also do. So we started doing some clothing as well, and other stuff that we're working on that we can't quite say yet.
Oh.
So yeah, stay tuned.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Not a cheeky little plug for what's coming in the future on my podcast. Damn you guys! Well,
get every viewer to sign an NDA.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay, this would probably be the worst platform to say anything about that on. Then I completely respect that. Okay, then fine. So, in terms of like the areas that you cover as well, I'm really interested in this. You know, you cover a plethora of areas that we've been through, and you know, I can see you guys obviously having vested interest in like a select few. So, you know, drama, music, fashion, for example, you know, given like what you do and what you have done. But there are other areas which I find intriguing because, you know, there's stuff that I can't see a direct link to you guys, for example, media more broadly, or art or business. And I'm wondering, like, what is it that you're currently like doing to kind of capture the imagination of these people who are, you know, involved in these circles? Do you have advisors? Like, do you speak to people who are involved in these circles and like can give you the advice you need on advertising? Or is it more, we're going to play it by ear and we're going to see what happens? What's currently going on there?
So we've got a few, that's what we're really working on at the moment. Kind of next steps, because we've kind of built this platform on Instagram, as you've seen.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's about taking that to the next step, because that grew over we did that over lockdown last year, and that was a great idea from Alexandra, who's my partner, as you know.
I well know, yeah.
Our very own Russian, which is always
From
great.
Russia with love, baby. She's always there helping in the background.
And she's actually also just built an M.D.R.N page out in Russia, which is absolutely smashing it.
Boom.
Fantastic, man.
I'd say that we probably got more traffic on there than we do in London at the moment.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Absolutely. I mean, it's just like, there's even people messaging her actually from today, actually saying, can we donate money to you guys to, you know, and we've never had that kind of response from London. I just feel like with the London market, we're really trying to still figure them out. It's a hard market to crack. It's
for sure.
Kind of very saturated, if you'd like, with loads of kind of creative networks and other people trying similar things. And I think that with somewhere like Russia,
Just don't have it.
they don't have that, and it's
No, of course.
and I think that culture and the arts and creativity is something that is not really celebrated as much there. So we just we found this gap there.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I really didn't expect it, because Alexandra said, I think we should do this, and I said, yeah, give it a go, let's see how it goes, and it,
it's
to our surprise
as well. It's
that's a complete curveball. I hadn't planned. Well, I mean, obviously I knew that M.D.R.N Movska was like, it was big, but that would be so incredible if you could I don't know, because I feel like there would be an untapped market there, wouldn't there, in the whole old like Eastern Bloc, what was formerly the Soviet Union, and having creative ideas suppressed. You can now tap into that, and my God, what the potential there to connect, the Russian market up to the Western world. That would be incredible.
I mean, that's the plan, really. And just like the creative sector in Russia, if you'd like, it's just something that really needs to be changed. If you look at their record deals, the way the creatives are treated out there, I mean, it's just something that you could really take hands off and change for the better.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, even historically speaking, like very recently, like within the last 5-6 years, I can't really remember when it was that Pussy Riot was locked up for speaking out about the issues that they did. But, something's got to change. I mean, freedom of expression in Russia is just so, still under the iron fist. Putin is, trying to strangle people, have a stranglehold on people and their creative voices. So I commend you for entering that market, and it's sure to be an incredibly lucrative one. You mentioned briefly the events that you've put on, and to date there have been, if I'm not mistaken, 3 main events that you've held in London, and they were the Troubadour, Embargo, and Ryan Wax. So talk me through like what it was like holding the first event, and kind of the essence of what one of your shows were, because when I looked at the kind of format and the layout of it, they all had this very sort of interactive feel. Like people, the crowd was in and amongst like the DJ or the rapper or whoever was performing. Like, was that something you tried to maintain, every single time you went out to perform, or like did it just depend on the venue?
I think it depended more on the venue, because I think for the first venue we done, which was Leek Street, wasn't it?
I mean, that wasn't really an M.D.R.N event.
Okay, yeah, but it's still like the first event that we really done to see like what it would be like, and obviously there was more of a stage there. So like obviously some people did come up to the stage, and I think that's quite good, because whenever you see like people perform, it's like a stage and then loads of people, but then there's a massive gap between it, and it just kind of takes away the intimacy of it. I think, like as a performer, because you're just so far away, you can't really get the full experience. So I think they come round the performer or the DJ, it's like more intimate and it's more of an enjoyable experience, really.
I have to say that was like still to date my favorite one.
That was going to be my follow-up. What was your favorite event?
Rye Wax, definitely. I mean, we've done probably bigger and better in sales with some other ones, but I just think it was such a sweaty, like it felt like a gritty rock show, but it was rap, and I think there was something quite beautiful about that, and that's what it's all about,
Absolutely.
And like Oliver said, it was being in that intimate venue where you could kind of like be like that with the art. Sorry.
Oh God! Smash your brother in the face.
I smashed him. Exactly, there you go. Like. But you could be up with the artist, and it's like that's what it's all about. It's about being together, and I'm really sorry.
The intimacy.
Need an ad break. Need to get an ice.
Hey, we don't know how much that face is going to be insured for in the future, so you best be gentle, man. You best be gentle.
It'll probably be me doing the insurance for it still.
Oh, okay, fair enough. And speaking of the events, and now that obviously we've lived through 2020, they've been cancelled.
Yeah.
We'll get on to 2020 in a minute, but one thing I want to talk about is the collection of artists that are already sort of, performing with Mdrn, or in particular, there's one guy in particular I really want to talk about, because I feel like there's a whole plethora of talent out there that you guys are sort of somewhat representing, but there is one guy who is cast iron you are representing, and you have signed him. And on the 1st of November, you signed Prez. in 2019.
Yeah.
Now, I want to, because I've listened to his music. He's got 4 tracks, okay? And for anyone who's listening or watching me right now, I don't want you to stop what you're doing because I need the views. But I want you, after this, to go and listen to his 4 tracks because they're incredible. They're on Spotify now and they could really do with a listen. And they are So Many Questions, Wolf, All I Said, The Man, and Juxtaposition. I mean, talk me through what it was like working with him. How did you get introduced to him as well? These are all burning questions I have at the moment.
So Prez is actually one of he's the president of the company. Well, it goes with the name, right?
Fair enough. Fair enough.
And he's very much involved in the business side too, actually, just as much as me, Oliver, anyone. But I actually met Prez at the Ball in Chislehurst.
Oh wow!
We ended up just working together one summer, both bartenders. And I remember kind of having a chat with him on a break time, or probably during work, knowing us. And I remember saying to him, I remember him kind of going into music a bit, and obviously that's something that I shared with him. And I was like, okay, so what, you like music? Do you do anything with music? And he was like, yeah, I DJ, like I put tracks together, like I spin, man. And I said, do you rap? And he said, actually, it's funny you say that, man.
The accuracy of that impression is spot on as well.
That actually, I've been writing some 16s, and for anybody who doesn't know what a 16 is, it's just 16 bars of lyrics. But
grime knowledge on this.
Yeah, man.
Beautiful.
Grime 101. And he said, yeah, so I've been writing these things. And he was like, but I don't really take it too seriously. I was like, I bet you can rap. And it was kind of like I knew before he even knew that he could rap. So I started hanging out with him a lot more because he just has this tone in his voice, which is quite...
It just lends itself to rapping.
It lends itself to rapping, and it's something that's just like it's instantly recognizable. Like, as soon as you listen to Prez, you're like, yeah, that's Prez.
It's got that je ne sais quoi. You can't quite put your finger on it, but you know it's there.
Je ne sais quoi.
Exactly. Hey, Jean-Paul Gaultier earlier, I'm bringing out the fucking French lingo, man.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, that's what it is. Like, he just has that tone. So yeah, so we started chilling here at home, and just being stupid and writing freestyles, and I was kind of, writing with him, saying about how to write hooks, kind of like showing him the ropes a bit, and then he just kind of took it for himself. And ever since, he writes like a madman, and he's just getting so much better. I mean, we've got a lot of projects with him coming this year. I mean, we kind of wanted to hold it off a bit for 2020, because at the end of the day, with the whole Prez journey, we're still finding who he is, and we're still finding his sound. But I think we're a lot closer now, and I'm really excited for the new music that we've got under the way. And he's got a single coming out actually on the 24th of Feb.
Oh, shout out. Okay, fair enough.
Me over you.
Me over you.
Who's gonna get it? It's me over you. You best remember that hook.
Of course. And I'll also, just for anyone who's worrying, who's watching, link in the description for Prez's music and all that he's doing right now. He's making some incredible music at the moment.
And he's just great live too, as well. So when we get back to the live setting, definitely come and check him out, because he's just, I mean, from even I was a bit nervous when he did his first performance. I was like, oh man, it's gonna go down, but he just smashes it. Like, everybody it's like one of those things, like when everybody just stands there and watches.
Yeah. Of course, you just know you're in the presence of something great.
Exactly, and sometimes you can have an artist which sounds great on the record, but it's crap live, or vice versa.
It doesn't translate, for sure.
And he just smashes both. So yeah, we love Prez
for sure, man. And it definitely comes across as well. I mean, like, how kind of interactive and integral he's been to the brand. I mean, he's like, what I'd say in about a good chunk of all of your posts on Instagram have some involvement with Prez, and it definitely shows the kind of love you two guys have for one another. And so, unfortunately, I suppose, this isn't unfortunate. What the fuck am I talking about? You had the performance on the 22nd of November 2019, and that was the last one for a while. And then 2020 hit, and the one that you were due to do, if I'm right in thinking, that was at the Jacaranda 12th of March. What did that feel like? I mean, because it really felt like the brand was beginning to gather momentum, events were beginning to gather momentum, more and more people were hearing about it, and then all of a sudden the lights are turned out on everything in the world. Like, what was your initial thoughts after that happened?
It's a bit like, just we all felt a bit gutted about it, really.
It was just super frustrating, I think. But actually, because this was the first lockdown and we didn't know too much about COVID, we was actually really more concerned about other people's safety and health. Because, you know, nobody really knew what, you know, how serious it was. So we was just kind of like, it's a bummer that we've had to cancel it, because
For sure.
that Jacko show, oh my God, we put so much effort and marketing into that. You know, we actually went out and posted envelopes into people's doors.
So you really like made a conscious fucking effort, like by hook or by crook, the word is getting out about this event.
I mean, we had you on the door acting as, I can't remember one, because it was a bomb theme night. We had you on the door acting. We had fire dancers booked. We had, you know, the whole shebang. Like, it was going to be.
It was going to go off. And speaking actually more broadly to all of your events, what really struck me was how professional all of them were. Like, there was a degree of professionalism that ran throughout them. I mean, like, I don't know. I've never been to sort of like a brand launch event or whatever, or something, what you guys are particularly trying to do, which I suppose has an element of, like, you know, street and gritty and so on and so on. But also there was like a professionalism to it. Like, it wasn't in some sort of sweaty ked then. Like, you really thought about everything that you were doing. And so it must have been, I can only imagine how gutting it would have felt to like have that, like that, what might have been a breakout event at Jacaranda, you just fucking pulled out from under you. So terrible, guys.
Yeah, it was terrible. It really was. And like you said, it could have been like one of those, especially from the events perspective, a make or break or. But yeah, I mean, we actually tried to do, I don't know if we should talk about this in a minute, but we actually tried to do another event with Jacko towards the end of the year, and that got cancelled as well. So maybe it's third time lucky with them. We're still
third time's a charm, man. Third time's a charm. It's meant to be.
We still want to do something, and maybe it will be the bomb thing again when that film eventually comes out.
Jesus Christ, who knows when that's going to be Bond. Controversial thing. Now that you've brought it up, right? Ooh. Who do you think should be the next Bond?
I think Idris Elba. I think he'd be a great Bond.
Yeah, I think Idris Elba too. I think
really good Bond.
I think he'd really embody that character. Yeah.
Fair enough. Well, we're not gonna get into the controversy or stir it up. Idris Elba's a fantastic actor, and if you think otherwise, go fuck yourself. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying on it. But so we're into 2020 now, and it's a strange year for everyone. I'm interested to know like what was the kind of initial thought of like, right, our kind of main resources and main way of reaching people and like causing some noise about the brand, which was the events, has been cut off. What was the bounce back? Like, how did you combat 2020 taking away a lot of your tools for marketing?
Well, we was all obviously, because me and Alexandra, we were living in Kensington at the time, and as soon as we've kind of found out about how serious COVID was getting, and actually at the time Kensington had like the most cases in London, so we was like, gotta get out of here, like. So we got like literally the first train back to here in Kent to stay with the family. So luckily we was all kind of posted here together. Obviously Ollie was working online from school, so he actually had a little bit more free time on his hands, and that's when Alexandra actually came up with the idea of, you know, let's really start playing with this Instagram platform that we had.
Yeah.
We'd only used it for promo for Prez and the events, really. We hadn't gone anywhere else with it. So that's where we came up with the idea of doing these calling cards, if you'd like, of creatives, where they could kind of put a couple photos, their profession, and a bit about themselves. And that's where that came from.
Fair enough. And I think Instagram has got a kind of, I don't know what it is at the moment that's making it so attractive, because in terms of the kind of platform that you're trying to create, I'd imagine that something like LinkedIn is too formal, too kind of 9 to 5, you know, bread and butter job. And Facebook, well, I mean, that's a dying brand. Like no one's really using it, but Instagram seems to have this kind of versatility to it, which would really, really lend itself to you. And you've started like a load of initiatives with it. Like, so for example, like the Modern Creative, and like you're inviting people to kind of come on the platform, create their portfolio? Like, talk me through like the kind of thinking behind that. Like, what was the kind of initial steps that you took to make that possible?
Well, I think the idea behind the whole calling card thing was like the whole point of, well, one of the points of M.D.R.N was to connect people regardless of what they've done. So we thought the easiest way to do that was just put loads of people on the Instagram. So if there was a musician who needs something, they could just go onto the Instagram and click a model for their album cover or someone to do media, and they could just scroll through and click all the stories and find someone who they thought could do the job, and then
that was that.
Run out, really.
Yeah, it was just kind of like building this big portfolio of creatives, you know, a big black book within our Instagram. And so that's how that process was. And it was kind of like, okay, let's put it in the story so you can go on there, and I'm going for photographers, or I might need this for this. Or, you know, even so at the time, it was to connect maybe for the future when we got out of a lockdown, but just, you know, people needed to be together in that time.
Yeah, for sure.
We was all isolated and stuck at home and all in our own little bubbles, which is dangerous enough.
Yeah, so it's a dangerous mindset to have, to feel that kind of isolated.
Giving them that, and creatives, I think by nature, generally are quite
sociable creatures. Like they need
sociable, but at the same time they're very delicate creatures, and I think that's what makes them creative, because they are quite delicate, and that they have a really different thought process, if you'd like. So I think giving them that space where they could kind of connect was the main thing. To keep everybody smiling.
For sure, man. For sure. One thing I want to talk about as well was like, I kind of wanted. I think I've done you a disservice here a little bit, if I'm honest, because I feel like what I've done is I've created the image that 2020 was not a kind of active year for you, because it was. And let me give you a bit of like a backdrop to this, right? So 2020 was a year of activism and rebellion. I mean, you could see it across the board, politically, socially, with movements like Black Lives Matter, for example, and everything that happened to George Floyd, rest in peace, and everything that's gone on within the UK and all the protests that we've had. And you guys were no different. And I am, of course, referring to Rishi Sunak's comments about a certain ballet dancer named Fatima, and how that would have affected you guys and the kind of reaction it got. I mean, for those who aren't aware, and for those who didn't know what your response was, can you explain what you decided to do in that moment?
It's just, I think all creatives just really felt frustration and just disgust that they think it's just, it's not useful. Basically, was kind of the
I believe his exact quote was, Fatima's next career could be in cyber. She just doesn't know it yet.
Basically saying that what she's doing now is useless and she should just go and sit in an office somewhere. And
it's fucking patronizing, is what it is.
It's really disrespectful, and I just think it hurt a lot of people, and it just angered a lot of people as well about the whole thing. So I think that really made what we were doing even more important.
For sure. I mean, and you then went and marched and protests, you know, outside the Houses of Parliament. And I mean, even if it is that your brand is still in its infancy and you're still trying to drum up businesses and stuff, what I think this is kind of what I think makes this important is the fact that, you know, it clearly shows that you're not just catering to a marketplace. These people aren't just people to you, or, you know, they're not just customers. They're human beings, they matter, and they're valued. And, you know, you wanted to demonstrate to them that they're part of a community. And I really I commend you for that, actually, because I think that there are so many brands that I would almost consider sort of sociopathic in the world. Like, you look at the Jeff Bezos of the world, you know, people who are forcing their workers into warehouses to work ungodly hours all the fucking time, and like who really have this disconnect from human beings. But with you guys, like, I feel like you showed a kind of level of solidarity with the people that you were trying to take care of and the people that you were trying to connect on the network.
Well, this is the thing. I think at the end of the day, we're not just businessmen, or, you know, I don't think we are that now. You know, we're not trying to be that. We're just trying to be people that kind of make a change and have cool ideas and try and get them done. But I think from that sense, we are creatives at the end of the day. And, you know, me and Ollie know how it feels to you know, to really train hard at something and then be told that you have to go and do something else. You know,
Yeah.
I spent endless hours being a drummer as a kid. I did so many audition processes to get into the places I did. You know, I've cut my hand on drumsticks and got blisters as much as you would typing on a keypad, you know, even more.
Yeah.
Sweating my ass off and playing in front of 5 people and 10 people, and you know,
and then it just escalates as well. I feel it's just such a shame. It's just such a shame.
And I just thought that those comments from the government, it just came at a really wrong time. And I just think it, you know, like you said, it was patronizing and it was extremely insensitive.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that from our perspective, you know, we just wanted to show that the creative people, the people that we like to cater for, that we're with them.
Yeah.
And we feel the same, and that we're going to try and make a change just as much as they could. And I mean, I don't think it was the best time to even do that protest either. I mean, on that day, I mean, around 500, 600 people said that they was going to come through, of 25 that did come. So, you know, it was disappointing, and it was disappointing in a way that, number one, it was kind of awkward because obviously we're still in lockdown, but at the time, you know, restrictions had been lifted, but everything was going back to a more severe lockdown. So I think a lot of people kind of might have bottled out at the last minute, but also there was the big SARS protest as well, so that probably didn't help. There was like a crowd of 300 people with drums. And there was like 20 of us going, you know, we won't.
Do you want to join in and protest for creatives as well, guys?
Yeah, I know. We should have. No, that's a bit insensitive.
Yeah. For sure. I mean, but it's 25 people, 500. I mean, the point is you turned up. The point is that you fucking said something. You didn't say nothing. So that's the. I mean, it's still commendable. I think we're sort of coming towards like the end of our time together, and it's been a beautiful.
It has been beautiful.
It has been a beautiful, informative, creative conversation, and I suppose what's left for me to ask you is I want to ask you kind of a couple of deep questions. You know, about life, the universe, and everything. Existentialism and nihilism. No, I mean, no, just simple questions, but on a deeper level. I'm really interested to know, for both of you, what motivates you guys? Like, what gets you going in the morning?
I think just the fact that we are building this community for creatives, and that we just really want to make a change, and the fact that I'm just one of these guys that walks around and says everything's possible, which is probably annoying to a lot of people.
No, we need more fucking people like that in the world at the moment, bro. Don't ever say that.
Up in the morning, and I don't know. I think I'm quite autistic in a way, like I always have been. I'm
not laughing at autism, by the way, just in case anyone's worrying who's watching.
So yeah, I think in that way, like I get very obsessive with things. So for me, it's kind of like wake up in the morning and making sure that everything's in the right place and that we're doing this properly, and you know, making sure that this works.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what motivates me, and just the fact that you can do a lot if you put your mind to it.
For sure.
I think what motivates me is just, well, the whole thing in general is like, even if it helps one person out or 2 people out, it's, you know, we've still made a change to people's lives, and we might have got someone's the last band member they needed, or we could have got someone finally a good photographer that they needed for something, and it's just like
it's rewarding.
We've truly helped people for what they need to do. It's just to be able.
I'm sure it must be a fantastic feeling, and I suppose, I don't know if I'm asking the same question, but I'd be keen to know, like, do you have like any kind of individual philosophies that you hold close to yourself, like any set beliefs about life and the way you should lead it? Because I believe that like creatives do live out on a kind of different plane and do operate by a different set of rules. Is that something that rings true to you?
Yeah, I mean, personally for me, and I'm still learning a lot as much as Ollie and everybody else in the gang, I think for me, it's kind of about dreaming for tomorrow, but planning for today. I'd say. And I guess what that means is that you have this big dream that you want to achieve, but you must plan for that today instead of tomorrow to make it happen.
Fair enough.
Very well put, Elliot.
Yeah, right.
Eloquent and beautiful.
Beautiful.
I've got Marcus Aurelius in the room with me, man. Fuck.
I think the belief I have is just anything's really possible if you put your mind to it. And
Fair enough.
you just got to keep going with whatever you really want to do. And if you try hard enough, you'll get it, really.
Fair enough. And I suppose this is a fucking fundamental next question to ask you guys, seeing as you are the faces of your brand, quite literally. Beautiful. What does M.D.R.N mean to you in a nutshell?
To me, I think the name says it all. As much as I'm trying to make or we're trying to make a lot of other people's dreams a reality, it's about making our own dreams a reality too.
For sure.
That's what it means to me. It's about, and I think from being in that band and having that fail on me, for me, it would be amazing to see that I had helped another band join up together and maybe to get to a point where I didn't, or that those little things that means the most to me. And that's what the RM means to me. It's family and it's love, and it's about a group of people who really love each other and are really hardworking and just dedicated.
For sure.
Yeah, as Elliot said, I think M.D.R.N is a family, and it's just an amazing feeling to have a group of people where you can really like share your ideas about anything, and you'll get, if people won't lie to you about it, if they don't think it's a good idea, they'll be honest. It's just like all the feedback and stuff is just really, it just shows what creatives are,
Yeah, for sure. And it also,
be a yes man or anything. You just say what you need, and it just helps everyone, really.
Yeah, cuts all the fucking bullshit out. Is what it is. I suppose, and like, couple more questions on the kind of deeper side. But actually, no, this isn't deep. This is more practical. What advice would you give to someone who's trying to start their own a new business all by themselves? Like, what would you say are the main things to look out for?
I'd just say, just do it. Don't think about doing it next week or something like that, because I think a lot of people do that. They go, "Oh, I'll start that another day, or I'll start when I'm free," but then they never end up doing it. I think you just need to bite the bullet and start doing it. And I think it's the only way you'll really get to where you want to be with it.
I think, yeah, actually going from that, Oliver, like today's the only day, which is a great kind of a philosophy as well to live by. But also just make sure that number one, you know what you want to do. Number two, or you have some sense of vision. Number two, make sure that you work with a group of people that you trust and that believe in the vision just as much as you and can make it work. Three, don't be afraid of mistakes, because they are going to happen. A lot of them are going.
Yeah. So important. Everyone will. I mean, I'm actually no. I won't say everyone, but loads of people just think it might be smooth sailing, or I hope they don't.
It's not.
It's not. There's been so many times with us, and honestly, if you can overcome them, and if you keep coming,
it makes you stronger.
It makes you a lot stronger. And you know what? Success I think success is the celebration of a group of failures.
Yeah.
If you like, you have to
fail for sure
before you learn to win.
For sure. I coined a phrase one time when I was young. I said the plinth of success is made out of countless failures. So that's a sentiment I do really agree with. And I suppose as well, it would be wrong to not talk to the people that you are actually, creating this platform for and facilitating. And so I suppose, what advice would you give to creatives at the moment, because they're currently going through a tough time? Like, what would you say to them?
I'd say just whatever emotions or anything you're feeling at the moment, just express it through your creative, whatever your field is. So
medium, yeah.
If you're a musician, just write songs and get your emotions out on the paper. If you're an artist, draw or paint pictures that reflect how you're feeling, and just kind of express yourself through what's going on, because it probably will help you and it will make you feel a lot better about what you're doing.
For sure, for sure.
Absolutely, and I think Oliver answered that really, really well. I think it is just all about expression, and you know, don't keep your frustration in a bottle. Let it out and put it onto the canvas or write a song. And you know, for those who are struggling at the moment, don't be afraid to talk to someone too. I mean, we're even here at M.D.R.N. If somebody wants to personally give me a call and talk to me about how they feel for half an hour, I'd happily do that. You know, because
Fair enough.
that's our job, to be here for creative people. But you know, just don't give up and just keep on dreaming.
Beautiful. And finally, guys, what happens when we die? I'm just kidding. I won't let you say fucking heavy.
Actually, I have
Well, actually, we thought about this before the podcast. Well, guys, I've got to say, it's been fantastic speaking to both of you. I've really enjoyed our fucking time together. And you've enjoyed my questions. You've enjoyed my fashion faux pas on our quiz. And now it's my time to fucking give back to you. Let the world know about Mdrn. Where can people find you? What can they follow? What's coming next? This is your time.
So on Instagram, it is at MDRN_group. It's easy to find that way. What have we got coming next? Well, you'll see. Okay, we'll leave the website address on here as well, which is www.mdrngroup.co.uk. But you're gonna have to stay tuned for that one. And we are planning a bigger scale event for next year.
Ooh.
That we won't go too much into, but it's very much in planning and under wraps. So yeah, stay tuned for that one. It's a big.
Hey, we're after the way you fucking delivered that. Everyone who's watching this podcast right now is waiting with bated breath to see what the fuck happens next for you guys.
We can't fuck this up now, Ollie.
Yeah, it's out there now.
Yeah, it's on camera now. You can't under deliver on this. You have to follow through. Yeah, and to all the people who are watching this, and it's just the second episode. Yeah, I can't even speak properly. Drop a like if you're new, comment and subscribe. And if you don't, you're a real piece of shit. No, I'm just kidding.
The way he delivered it was beautiful.